All right, hopefully this one pans out. What's up, everyone? I am Sam. Hello, whatever. If you're into self help, there's something that you need to understand. Everybody loves to run their fucking mouth about self help. You just gotta believe. You just gotta do the people. Fuck, dude, I hate that shit. Or you read a book and you think you got it, and then the only thing that you ever end up doing with the book is like, maybe you ask another buddy who's in the self-help, "Oh, did you read it? Well, it's really cool, huh?" And then you start talking like about the book, and it becomes this like pointless competitive conversation that I really hate. Anyway, that doesn't do the job. Reading the book doesn't do the job. Even applying the idea once in a while doesn't do the job. What does the job? Reps. Reps. Repetition. Right? If you hit the gym, you know what I'm talking about. You don't get big unless you're hitting reps. You don't get cut unless you're hitting reps. You don't increase muscle memory unless you are hitting reps. And that's the whole point. See, when I practice shadow alchemy, and from the people that I learned it from, they tell you that, and this is how, this is what shadow alchemy is. Shadow alchemy is basic. Shadow is all the bullshit that you hate about your life. Alchemy is transformation, right? So you're just taking the bad stuff, you're transforming it into something good, because all the bad stuff in your life, you can't get rid of it at all, but you can transform it. You can convert that energy into something better. That's the whole point. Anyway, when you play the shadow alchemy game, or when I play the shadow alchemy game, or when anybody does really, typically the philosophy is that it's only the only time that it's really worth it for you to do shadow alchemy, to go through the process of rewiring your brain, is only in the moment that the negative pops up in your head. Right? You have a negative thought, you have a stress moment, you have a pain body, whatever you want to call it. That's the moment that you're supposed to take care of it. That's the moment that you're supposed to start beating down on the negative thought, and that's kind of true. However, that's like telling a white belt in karate, the only time that you can actually practice your punch is when somebody attacks you on the street. That's it. That's all you get to do. So whenever somebody comes and tries to beat your ass on the street, now you can try it out. But what's going to happen? He's going to get his fucking ass kicked because he doesn't throw the punch. He's never practiced it. You have to practice it. And how do you do that? You do that on your own. You create reps. In shadow alchemy, typically what we're trying to do is we're trying to become a clear channel, meaning we're getting our mind cleared out, right? We're getting our mind cleared out so that our body creates better emotions, or doesn't create emotions where there shouldn't be any emotions. And so you can actually sort of operate a lot more comfortably and happily in life. But unfortunately, if you practice the game of only trying to alchemize your shadow when the shadow shows up, just like the white belt, you're going to get your ass beat. So what do? You need to practice. Go to the gym. Go to the dojo. Have a system to practice. Let's say you find like a good book on, how to think more positively, right? If your intention really is to think more positively, then you have to practice that like at least twice a day, especially in the beginning, especially if you're negative as fuck, right? So here's what I would suggest, right? Let's say you have a book on positivity, twice a day. Practice it. Take like 3 reps, 5 reps, but it doesn't have to be a lot, just a few times. Think of something that you just absolutely hate in your life, something that's really upsetting you, and then use that positive tool to battle against that negativity, and just do it 3 times a day, right? The practice should be intense. It should be as if it's real, right? You really want to go hard on this stuff. Once I started taking on that practice in shadow alchemy, my results actually skyrocketed, because I don't know what your life is like. I have ADHD. I really don't know. I just know attention is a little tough for me or whatever, but I've had to work on that. And that through that, I also have like huge pain bodies. So like I would have these crazy emotional roller coaster moments where I would just start thinking of something that happened to me on my path like years ago, somebody that hurt me, somebody that was mean to me, and I get wrapped up in it, and I'm literally to the point where it's so intense, the thought that I'm thinking of, that I stand up and I'm moving around and I'm like kind of grumpy, right? If a thought is so strong that it's getting you to do that, there's a real problem. And there was with me. And so what I started doing was literally practicing twice a day, once in the morning, once at night before I go to bed, and having and being in the dojo, right? Something negative happens to me, or I think of something negative, and then I go through the shadow alchemy process until I get to the point where I feel like a little bit of a wave of euphoria, a wave of like good feelings and positivity and power in my body. And trust me, when you do this right, you will feel power in your body. But I learned from other people who told me that the only time that you should be practicing shadow alchemy is literally in the moment that you feel that pain. And although they are right, it's still how would I say, it's unsophisticated, right? If you only wait till somebody tries to punch you to practice karate, then you're just going to get your ass beat. You'd have to go through tons and tons of real actual fights in order to get good. However, if you take some time in the dojo, in the gym, practice your reps, when somebody does come to fuck with you, aka your shadow in this case, you are actually ready. My results have, I'm telling you, skyrocketed. It's crazy. Before, I was having a ton of trouble really keeping my mind in check, especially when I was having a bad day or just something came up, right? And now I'll catch a thought maybe a few seconds into jump, sometimes a little longer. Mind you, I'm still in the mode of practicing this new methodology because I'm the one that's fucking making it up, really. But if that's you, if you have a methodology or whatever, and you believe in it and you think it's actually good for you, then go to the dojo, go to the gym, practice it a couple of times a day. It takes me maybe 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night, and I feel good every single time that I do it, which means that I know when the moment does come where maybe I'm feeling kind of tired, kind of cranky, kind of out of sorts, I know how to deal with it in the moment. And of course, not every emotion is based on thought. Sometimes your emotions are just going to be based on, physical, on the environment or on how your body's feeling, right? Sometimes you're tired, maybe you've been working too much, maybe you actually need to get some rest or to decompress or to have a meal. That's fine too, right? Because what happens is if your body actually feels like shit and you try to use shadow alchemy for something that's a physical game when shadow alchemy is a mental game, then you're just going to stress yourself out even more. So it's okay to take a break or whatever if you have to. But when it comes to the thoughts, the shadow alchemy game, you want to practice. Go to the gym, right? My body is strong and capable of doing a lot more because I go to the gym. And now my mind is capable of a lot more output, work, studying, consumption of information because I go to the gym twice a day in my brain. Cool. I hope that kind of helps. Once again, I'm just pulling this video a little bit out of my ass, but this lesson has been really, really important. It's been really relevant in my life lately, especially in the last month or so. So hopefully it helps you. If you are interested in any more of this, go to my website, samkaban.com. There's a bunch of free material. There's paid material. There's a link where you can, hit me up for one-on-one coaching. But right now, I'm just sort of like plowing through this because I got to start making videos. I'm going to say daily. We'll see. And then I'm going to be cross-posting. So it's going to be here. And then you're also going to see me on Substack. If you don't know about Substack, definitely just either go to substack.com or go to samkaban.com, which is actually a Substack website. And you'll see that the environment and the people there are actually way better than any social media platform you've ever been on, because these are people that are deep thinkers. They want to have conversations. They want to be real. They put up artistic stuff, great photos, great artwork. It's a crowd that I've never seen on social media in my entire life. So it's really, really cool. Definitely go check it out. That's it. You have a great night or day whenever you're watching, and we'll talk. Bye, 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 bye.